Radical.
Welcome to Flea Market Stories, documenting one man's journey into the world of flea marketing. Let's talk about the term parasite. First, we're going to go to Webster's and see the actual definition of parasite. There's a couple different ones here, but I think this is probably the most accurate as pertaining to what I'm about to talk about. Someone or something that resembles a biological parasite in living off of, being dependent on, or exploiting another while giving little or nothing in return. Now, I think we all have had parasites before. I hope you haven't had the kind that actually make you really sick. But sometimes, if you have a human parasite, they can make you sick as well. They can be annoying. They can be begging you for money. On YouTube, I talked about e-beggars for the longest time. And it feels like a lot of these YouTubers, as an example, they live off, they're parasitic to their subscriber base, whether it's, getting them to join their whatevers, their Patreons, just give them cash donations, send them video games. A lot of YouTubers have parasitic relationships with their subscribers. But I'm going to talk about something different, which is pertaining, of course, to the flea market, this being Flea Market Stories. And there's a gentleman that, I talk about him a good bit because he's there a good bit. He's the moped guy. And you remember the story to where his moped fell and it scratched someone else's front of their vehicle. Well, to his benefit, I haven't seen that vehicle back there. Maybe that person didn't go back there because they're like, damn it, it's not worth it. I'm not selling that much. And sometimes, occasionally, a bike will actually fall over and damage my vehicle. Since then, I opened up a spot. There's 2 spots in my location, and he usually parks in the spot to the right. Now, that's beneficial to me, like I've said before, because when he's there, it keeps other people that I don't know from parking in that spot. I could be that guy that says, hey, how long are you going to be here? You need to leave the spot. But here lately, it's not really that big of a deal. I don't stress on it that much. I still have plenty of room. So that's positive. I'm just listing out the positives here of this person first. Another positive is they are willing to help sometimes. They're willing to help sometimes. Sometimes they offer to help me close up. Sometimes, it's a nice person. Sometimes, definitely, if I need to leave the table for a minute or two, they can man the table, which is beneficial to me. Or if I need to go to the bathroom in a rare case, or I got the bubble guts, then if this person is around, they're willing to do that, and I do trust this person. That's key. It's very key. This person is trustworthy, at least when it comes to me and the store. And maybe some of that is a fear of what would happen, or I'm not going to say they have a healthy fear of me, but I think it's more of it's just a feeling. It's a deep down feeling. Sometimes you have that feeling like someone's going to double cross you. And then you have that feeling like this person is generally not capable of doing it. Not to say that they couldn't still do it in the future, but you have a general feeling like, or maybe there's a friendship there, right? Now, this person believes me to be a friend. And I don't know how you define the terminology friend. And sometimes friendships, there's parasitic friendships. You might have a friend that, you like and everything, pretty cool guy or girl, but then they're always borrowing money from you. Now, that's to the point where this person becomes parasitic. And sometimes he straight up asks me to borrow money. And then one time he's like, hey, can I borrow $10? And then I just say no. And then he turns and says, is it because I was late and getting you that money back? Like, no, it's really because I'm a businessman, I'm selling, and if I'm lending out money and I'm not getting any return on that investment, then that's just change I don't have to give to somebody else. Because, running a business here, it's pretty simple, right? Now, he has bought things from me in the past, but it's been a while, I think. So he's a somewhat customer. But most of the time, usually, if he helps out with a sale, or if I'm doing something on one end of the table and he helps in the other end of the table, then I'll give him some store credit. I've stopped the practice of giving him money because he was just kind of hanging around for a while, and it was not even super busy. He seemingly was just hanging around to help with sales, and I told him, okay, this one end of the table with the DVDs and the CDs, you can help customers with that stuff. But he slowly started kind of like just going to the game stuff on the left side because he was realizing that mostly all the game stuff was selling. And the way he shifted was he went over to just play a game to the left, and then I noticed he started talking to potential customers over there to the left. And it's one thing if he's very smooth with his delivery, like I am, or if he's just like, "Hey, how you doing? Let me know if you need any help," something like that. But it's not. He just kind of talks and he talks. He might talk for a minute, and he might scare off customers, not scare them off, but just kind of he's not a salesperson. He's not. And also, when he's telling people about like the mini Nintendo, he might say something like, "Oh yeah, it's got like 1,000 games, and it's only this much." And he's getting key things wrong. He's getting key things wrong about the system. He's getting the prices off. He's his delivery. Like I couldn't train him. But then you would get into the idea that he would be a store assistant, and you'd have to pay a store assistant. So, but parasitic. I think he would fit a definition of parasitic. Just on the times that he would ask to borrow money alone, just on the fact that he, at that day particularly, was coming to expect a little bit of money from helping with sales, when most of the time, 9% of the time, I need no help with sales. It's only if I'm over encumbered, which could happen, but I didn't have to just say, "I'll be with you one moment. I'll be with you one moment." And if you have that problem and somebody walks away, then it's not terrible because that means you're still busy. You're still selling things. So if you sell to customer A, B, and C, but then D walks off, then guess what? It means things are going well. I would rather have that be the case than actually have this other person who is parasitic and expecting things in that respect. I'm not saying he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. I would say he's a friendly parasite. He's a friendly person. I don't even know what I'm going to title this. A friendly parasite, I'm not sure. But then there are certain aspects where it gets to where it goes beyond that. Beyond where it kind of gets to annoy me. Now, simple thing, simple request. "Hey, can I park my bike in this spot?" Sure. "Hey, can you watch my bike helmet while I'm gone?" Sure, just put it in a trunk. Yeah, I could do that. "Hey, my weed eater, I just bought this, can I keep the here until I come back around?" It's because you don't want to carry around a weed eater. Okay, yeah. That was a bit annoying, though, because people kept asking me if the weed eater was for sale. But still, I had no issue with that. But two things I have particular issue with. One is if he straight up asks me if he's there, if he can sell something. "Hey, can I try to sell this backpack here? Can I try to sell this t-shirt here?" I give him a firm no. I don't have to answer, "Well, there's not enough room here. I'm trying to sell my stuff." The answer he should expect a no, because I'm there trying to sell my items. Anything that anyone else sells that I'm not in a business partnership with is going to take away from my sales. Now, there's an exception, of course, to the comic book couple, Comic Book Lake. He's bringing me comic books that Loki, I think, might have actually, at some points, maybe not now, had a little crush on me. She brings me things to sell. Half the comics I have there are hers that I get a little percentage of money from. She's brought me things that have sold regularly, all the time. She gave me the very bag, the suitcase bag that I use to put all my Xbox cords and HDMI cables into. So if anything, I owe her. And I tried so hard to offer her things like water, snacks, anything to actually balance that out. I say she could stay there, sit there as long as possible. I have a chair, her own stool that she can sit in. I try to do whatever I can to help her out in whatever way possible. And still, I don't even know if that's like a balanced kind of business partnership or whatnot. Probably not, but I'm trying to do what I can to make that balanced. Did I mention? Oh, there's a separate story I missed. I might have to add that story in the future. I'll have to check my flea market stories. There's another story I have concerning her. But that's one thing that annoys me. If he's there and he feels like he can even ask that question, can I sell this here? I say, if you want to sell something, the office rents spots for $15 each. You have to pay to sell. Now, I'd be open to if he actually said, I will pay you such an amount for this area, or a small sliver of this area, or maybe if I get a percentage of his sale, then maybe we could talk. If he sells something and I get something off of it, okay, well, maybe we'll talk. But knowing that, with everybody that comes by, he'd be probably trying to ask them and holding the backpack up, freaking them out, So that probably wouldn't even be that good of a deal. So no, I just said no to that, because once you start something like that, he'll start bringing all kind of stuff, right? The second part, while not as bad, still annoying. Now this links into my last flea market story, talking about the gorgeous beauty, the beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, hot as the fucking sun woman. Now, one thing I failed to mention is I was not focusing on him at the time, but he was actually there while that was all going on. While one of the biggest drop-dead beauties I've ever seen in my life just happens to grace my area. He was low-key trying to talk to her, not her and her dad, but he was to the left. While I'm talking to her, he was trying to not butt in, but whenever there was like moments where we was not talking, he would then take it on himself to talk to her. Now, I don't know how to basically stop that, because then I could be a jerk and say, like, if I'm in the middle of talking to customers, if I'm talking to them, I just kind of like what you kind of like, backing down, and he only really does it if it's beautiful women. That's when he mostly only does it, I've noticed. It's because, he's thirsty. But to be fair, I think any of you, even some of you married guys, you might want to talk to this female. I'm not saying that this will break your marriage up, but damn, I think this is an endless pool of drinkable water here, is how gorgeous she was. So I think a guy that wouldn't even like look in her direction, at least, might play for the other team. That's how gorgeous she was. So I'm not going to fault him on that. But if he's there, I don't know how to set a ground rule on that. Whereas to say, listen, this is my area, this is my spot. If there's a smoking hot, gorgeous female, and you kind of get a sense, you kind of get a feeling like I'm putting, not putting the moves on her, but if you sense that I'm trying to like kind of like build something to have a repertoire with her, and you happen to notice that I'm more engaged talking to her and it's not just sales, and you pick up on that, just kind of chilling back off. Don't mess with my flow.